Hey there, it's Tammy with It's All About the Dogs.
Noelle with Positive Directions Canine Academy.
Yeah, and we just, in another video, we recently talked about exercising your dog.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about exercising your dog when it's hot weather. Because today it's 93 degrees. By this weekend it'll be over 100. So we're into triple digits in western Colorado, and we have zero humidity. So it's like opening the door to a convection oven and standing outside.
Yep. It is.
So if you're going to exercise your dog, you need to take some precautions, right?
Oh, absolutely. So first precaution is, number one, if it is over 73 degrees, then you need to do some tests to make sure that it's going to be safe for your dog. So first test is to go outside and put the back of your hand against the surface that your dog's going to be walking on. Hold it there for 10 seconds and see if you can stand the heat, because your dog's feet are going to be touching that surface the whole way. So that's the first test.
Yep. Oh, take off your shoes and go stand on it. If you think you can walk on it, there you go. If you can't, then obviously your dog can't. This is one of my biggest pet peeves.
It infuriates me.
It does me too. I see people out in the middle of the day walking their dog and it's 90 degrees outside, and I just want to shout at them, take your shoes off and walk out, walk down the street and see how that works out for you.
Yep. Not only that, but these dogs are wearing their coats. And so even on a day like today, go put your coat on and go sit in a hot car. And see how
go take a walk down the street and go a couple of blocks with a coat on and no shoes and see what happens for you.
Yep. So it's really, really important that you just take a few extra precautions. So if your dog's used to going for walks with you, first thing in the morning is the best time to go, because things have cooled off overnight and it's not quite so hot as it would be in the evening.
Well, and even if it's hotter, because sometimes, here in Grand Junction, the temperature could still be in the 80s at 8 o'clock in the morning. But the sidewalk has been in the dark overnight. Maybe sprinklers have been run, and so the concrete is much cooler at that time of the day. But you don't want to go past 9 a.m. in the morning here at all. Or you want to go late at night after it gets dark, and the sidewalks have had a chance to cool down. So especially with Titus sometimes, because he's, my old man, I take him out at like 9:30 and walk just down the block and back, because it's cooled down enough to just take a short one.
Right. So the first thing is you definitely want to make sure that it's safe for your dog's feet. Second is you want to make sure, if you are going to take your dog for a walk, that you bring water with you. There's lots of ways that you can transport water. You can put it in a little, they've got those little folding bowls that you can stick in your pocket. And carry a little thing of water with you. Stop halfway through and give your dog a drink. Make sure that they're staying hydrated. The next thing that you want to be careful about is making sure that if you are walking on like concrete, asphalt, concrete or asphalt has a tendency to be hotter than concrete because it's black.
Exactly. So the surface makes a big difference.
Yes, it really does. If you're going to be walking in grass, that's something different, but not a lot of us have access to where we can go and walk in grass. And even still, you're walking in grass, it's 93 degrees. It may not be hard on your dog's feet, but it's going to be hard on their bodies. And if your dog starts to overheat, you need to know the warning signs.
Yes, and they can get into a respiratory distress really fast.
Really fast.
So what are some of the warning signs?
So before we go into warning signs, brachiocephalic breeds, those are the dogs that have the pushed in noses.
Pugs.
So
Boston
pugs,
Terriers,
Bostons, boxers, Frenchies, all those dogs should not be out walking at all in this heat.
No.
You're gonna really have a hard time with them. So first one is your dog's panting excessively, and you wanna look at the color of their gums. If the gums are pale, or when you push on them, they don't have a capillary refill, meaning when you push on it, it stays pale, it doesn't fill back up and turn pink, your dog's in distress. And you need to get them into a cool environment, and you need to cool them off as quickly as possible.
And you don't want to pour water on them.
No.
Because that will make them hotter.
It will.
You want to put their feet in cool water.
Right.
Not ice water, but cool water.
The only way that a dog can cool off is through the pads of their feet and by panting. And so if the pads of the feet are so hot because you've been walking on a hot surface, there's no way for the dog to cool itself off.
Right.
It's just going to continue to recirculate that heat. Collapse is another one. If you've gotten your dog to the point where they've collapsed, you need to seek veterinary care immediately. Organs will start to shut down, and damage can be done to liver and kidney and all kinds of problems. So it's really important that if you suspect that you've walked your dog too far, too much, too long, whatever the case may be, that you take the steps that you need to in order to get that dog cooled off. So have a pool or a tub, fill it full of lukewarm water, not cold water, and put their feet in it, let them just kind of stand in there for a little bit.
Sometimes the garden hose coming off the house is the right temperature because it's not super hot. It's not ice cold.
Right.
So you can, put that on the patio or whatever that you're gonna sit there, their pool in or something.
Yep.
Black dogs versus white dogs.
Oh, black dogs are
Yeah.
gonna hold the heat in a whole lot more than a white dog. The black actually attracts and holds in heat.
Right, just like your car, if you have a black interior, you know what it's like when you get in and touch that hot steering wheel.
Right.
So black is a lot hotter than white.
It is. And if you feel like you want to walk your dog in the middle of the day, then go someplace like Home Depot or Lowe's.
Where you can be inside.
Where you can be inside and the dog can go with you. Just be careful as you're exiting the vehicle going into the building.
Right.
That you're not taking your time lollygagging across the
You gotta
the
make
pavement.
it, so if I do that, if I take my dog on an errand to Lowe's or something, I typically park on the outside edge of the garden center because there's very few parking spaces there. Usually it's very empty, and you can park fairly close to the building and take them in right through the little sidewalk that's in the shade most of the day.
Yes.
And straight into the garden center. So that's typically what I do if I'm gonna take them to someplace like that, because even coming in the building here today, and we parked fairly close, it's like 6 steps to the building, but she put her feet on the pavement and went, ooh, and darted right in because it's really hot.
Right. All it takes is 1 step on hot coals to know that it's too hot.
Yeah.
And so you don't want to keep standing on that. So I think it's just an ounce of prevention's worth a pound of cure. Definitely make sure that you're not out there during the heat of the day. If you do have to do something during the heat of the day, it's best to just leave your dog at home.
Yes.
And let them relax in the cool, and you'll be back shortly. Don't take them with you. Don't leave them in the car. And just be super, super careful about how much contact they have with hot pavement and concrete before you decide to take that dog with you.
And walk them early in the morning or late at night.
Yep.
Just be aware, if you can't stand it, your dog really can't stand it.
Absolutely. Good tips.
Awesome.
All right.
Stay tuned, like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.
Bye.